Hi, I'm Andrew Berry and welcome to At the Bench and welcome to a film all about etching silver. We are going to be looking at how to etch sterling silver using a product called PNP, which is press and peel paper. Now there are many ways to etch silver and copper by using stopping off lacquer, by using packing tape, by using a stopping off marker pen. But we're going to be using this special paper that you can buy. Just search on the internet for PNP, press and peel paper. And it's like an acetate. It is blue in colour, as you can see. One side is shiny, the other side is completely matte. It's a lovely, gorgeous blue colour. Now this paper has been developed for the use of circuit boards in the electronics industry, but we can utilize this paper for doing some fantastic intricate etching, which far surpasses anything else that you could really do by hand. What I've done is simply gone on the internet, onto Google Images, and I've got some black and white images. It doesn't work with color. They've got to be clear, clean, crisp black and white images. You can load them up into Photoshop if they were colour, you can convert them to black and white, you can increase the contrast, adjust the levels to make the white completely white, the black nice, dark, crisp, solid black. So I've got some sort of designs that I've done up on my page here. I've done one or two already. The films are on AtTheBench.com. You can go along there and join up and you can see basically I think there's close to 400, 500 films online now. But I've got this page here of the rest of the designs that I've put together that I haven't done yet. Now we're going to be doing one with actual lettering across the piece, which again is going to be very hard to do without this PNP paper. The process is it has to be printed upon a photocopier or a laser printer. And the idea is the black areas that are produced upon the paper are going to be the areas that are going to be not etched. The white areas are going to be the areas that are going to be etched away. So in this instance here, we got a lovely Celtic pattern here. These black areas are going to be standing raised. The white areas are going to be lowered due to the etching action. I've done this upon the paper here purely for you to see what the patterns are going to look like. Eventually what you would do is print out your design upon the PNP paper as I have here. And the idea is you will turn this over so the matte side is against the silver, then you iron over the top. And where the toner is, where the black area is, that gets ironed onto the silver. That is your resist, that resists the etching. So when it comes to the letters have to be printed out backwards, or the words, the saying has to be printed out backwards. So I've got one on here that says believe, I've got one here that says it's not, I can't even read it that way, it's not who you are that holds you back, it's who you think you're not. So what we're going to be doing today is trying to put this particular etching here upon my sheet of silver. I'm not looking for a really deep etch. It is possible with ferric nitrate, which is the solution we're going to be using today, but I just really want to take it down so I can get some liver of sulfur into those etched areas and then rub it off then the surface so we've got a nice sort of oxidized look to the lettering. Print them out backwards because the sheet has to be turned over and ironed. So anything that you print on here will be printed in reverse. Hence the reason we print them backwards. So that was the test sheet that I did just to have a look. And I've actually printed it out upon my PNP paper. It got caught in my printer, as you can see here, so it's a bit wiggly. But this is the area here we're going to be cutting out. As you can see, the black area is the shape of the silver that we've got. Where it is blue, that is the area that is going to be etched. We are going to be using a sheet of sterling silver. This is a piece of sterling silver here. I think it's about 15 millimeters by 90 millimeters. and that's going to be the right size. We're going to be making something like a bookmark for this particular piece. It's not a piece of jewellery. We've made some gorgeous, fantastic Celtic brooches, as you can see on this particular picture here that we've made, and that is absolutely stunning. But in this instance, I want to have a go at doing lettering to see how that lettering comes out. So the idea is to iron this particular pattern onto my silver, but we need to remove the silver, sorry, the blue protective wrapper that is on the silver first of all. So we'll remove that as it come off my finger. And likewise on here, like that. Now you've got to make sure that the surface is perfectly clean and straight and level. Even though this has had the blue paper upon it, I'm never convinced that this is perfectly clean, especially now as I've actually handled it. So what we will do is to get some steel wool. But before that, what I am going to do, no, in fact, I'm going to do it the other way around. We're going to get the steel wool, and we're going to rub the steel wool over the surface to make sure there is no trace of grease, no oil, no fingerprints, anything like that. And I'm doing my best not to touch the surface, because if there is any grease, if there's any oil or anything like that on the surface, it will interfere with the adhesion of the PNP paper when we come to iron it into place. So that's our sheet all nice and clean. We're going to have a couple of sheets of paper that we're going to put down onto my bench so I don't burn it. Just like that. I've got a pair of scissors. I'm just going to cut out the lettering. And it's always best to try and print out and to make black the area larger than what you're actually using. And I'll show you what I mean now in just a moment, because I have a feeling that my silver is going to be larger than the piece I'm actually cutting out. So there's my bit of silver, my bit of paper. Let's bring that piece of silver onto my piece of paper. It's not sticky at all, so don't expect the thing to stick. But I'm just trying to get it as square as possible onto my silver. Like that. As you can see, we have a gap down here where the paper does not cover the silver. That's no problem, but we're going to come to that in a moment. So we're going to get my iron, which I got to one side, piece of paper over the top of that, just so we don't melt that PNP paper. That really isn't paper, it's actually sort of like an acetate. I've got an ordinary household iron here. This is on a temperature. The temperature is quite critical with this. It needs to be between 275 to 325 Fahrenheit. That's roughly 130 degrees centigrade to 150, 155 degrees centigrade. Don't have it too hot or you will melt it. Irons don't normally have temperatures upon the dials here, so I've got that on a woolen setting. The iron needs to heat up not just the top, but all the silver to ensure that that toner is actually stuck onto the silver. And a little piece of silver like this is only going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. So we're going to put the iron on top and we're going to move it round for the next 2 to 3 minutes to make sure that that toner is completely fastened onto my piece of silver. One important thing to remember is that you must not use steam with this at all. Make sure the steam is turned off on the iron. Don't put any water into it. Steam is going to be no good. It's got to be bone dry, but it's got to be fairly hot. As I said, 130 to 150 centigrade. I've got it on the woolen setting here. And we should be looking okay. So as I said, this is about a piece of silver that's 1/3 of a millimeter, 0.3 millimeter thick. So this is only going to take about a minute or two just to heat up. A thicker piece of silver will take a little bit longer, but ensure that the whole piece of silver is heated to the temperature, not just the top that you're actually ironing. Bring it to the temperature of the iron. So my time is nearly up. You can feel it and make sure that it is hot. And then we need to let the silver cool down. You could put it under some running water to quench it, to cool it quickly, but I'm just going to let it cool down for a few seconds. And you can leave that as it is, or you can put it onto a steel block just so it cools down a lot quicker. And then when it's cooled down sufficiently, just lift the edge ever so carefully and just remove the peel. As you can see, there's one or two places where it actually hasn't fastened completely, but that is not a problem. You can see now on here the areas where the resist actually is still attached to the paper. So we're going to get resist pen. I'm just going to go over the areas here. Let's get that working a bit better. There we go. And I can go over the areas where the resist hasn't taken to the actual silver. And just make sure that you go over it all, make sure that it's exactly as you want. In fact, I'm going to use the resist pen along that edge there. Let's just tidy this up a little bit. Some little places where the resist hasn't taken, but the back needs some sorting out. The back is still all silver, and the side here is silver as well. So we need to cover those areas up, and that's where the packing tape comes in handy. And also, if you take a piece of packing tape and make it actually longer than what we need, we can use it as a handle to dip it in and out of the solution. And we're going to pick up the silver and just simply place it onto the packing tape like that. Turn it over and just rub that silver there like that. I'm not worried about all this down here. And then I'm going to fold this over to cover the silver on the end that we had, like that. And so it doesn't all go sticky, let's just bend over all the areas like that as well to the edge of the silver, and likewise on this part here, like that. So that's what we've got now. This is our silver that's going to go into the solution. The silver areas are going to be the areas that are going to be etched. The blue areas are not going to be etched. And this is our handle here that we're going to dangle the silver into our solution. So this is our solution. It's ferric nitrate. Not an acid, but it's a nitrate, but it's still not very pleasant should you get it on your clothes or get it on your hands. So we got some eye protection to wear, and I've also got some gloves as well that we're going to be putting on. Now remember that this is a nitrate solution, it's brown, it'll stain your hands brown, it'll stain anything that comes into contact brown, so take good care. This ferric nitrate solution is in a baby bottle warmer, which is ideal because it keeps the solution warm but not hot. You could use a slow cooker, which is fine. Make sure the ferric nitrate is in its own little container like we have here in a nice warm water bath. As I say, a baby bottle warmer, fantastic. It's going to take about 15 minutes. It's on its lowest heat, and 15 minutes is going to be enough just to make the etching as deep as I want it. The longer you leave it in there, the deeper it will etch, but also the longer you leave it in there, the more that the etched, the resist is going to be etched away. This ferric nitrate comes in granules, and I've diluted the granules 1 part granules to 3 parts water, and I keep it in a beaker, which is ideal for this situation because it's going to be deep enough. Also, if you do happen to have a dish, make sure that you turn the silver upside down, so any of the silver that has been etched is going to drop down and out of it. Don't have it this way up because no fresh etchant is going to be getting to the lettering. So we're going to be putting it this way, and we're going to dangle it into our solution. Slightly upside down. Let's have a look. There we go. And we're going to come back every 5 minutes just to give it a bit of agitation and just to make sure that the etchant is working upon our silver. So I think we've had enough time in here. I can feel that the letters are slightly been etched, which is exactly what I'm after. I've got some plain water here. We're going to just dip this in the water just so that it neutralizes, and there's some bicarbonate of soda, a weak solution in here. So I'm just rubbing it over the lettering just to make sure that all the ferric nitrate is removed from it. I'm going to move the water bath out the way. I've got some kitchen roll I'm going to bring in here, and I'm going to keep my gloves on just for a moment and just remove the silver now from the packing tape. As you can see on the back here, it's completely as it was before the packing tape went on. The acid hasn't etched away this paper at all. So we've got it nice and clean and shiny still. Also on the front here, as you can see, where the packing tape was, that's nice and safe. And it's all nice and silvery, as it should be. Right, I'm just going to remove my gloves and take my glasses off. I'm going to put my other glasses on. So this is what we've got now here. Right, now we need to remove this toner, this PMP paper. I think the best thing to do here is just to get a little bit of, what's it called? Wire wool, and we'll go over the top. And as you can see, how the area that was not with the resist has been etched away, and you can actually see the lettering quite clearly upon the silver. So let's just get this rest of this resist off. And I've also got to the side of me some liver of sulfur solution as well. A pea-sized piece of liver of sulfur in a bowl of warm water, and we're going to put this silver into that. I'm making a bit of a mess actually here. There you go. There we go. Let's make all these marks uniform in the same direction. There you go, like that. There you go. So that's what we have. As you can see, it's quite clearly etched away. I've got my liver of sulfur solution. Again, I should put my gloves on. Pea-size piece of liver of sulfur in the water, warm water, swish that around. I'm going to put my piece of silver there and just immerse that into the liver of sulfur solution like that. Wait a few minutes for that to take colour. So once you've got the right colour, remember that we're going to be removing all the colouring off the surface, and what colouring is left in the etching is going to remain. Let's just take that out and pop that into my water just to stop the action of that liver of sulfur. And again, let's just bring that out. And it looks a mess. Admittedly, it looks completely black. Complete mess, you think? So I've got some 3M polishing papers here of various grits, and we're going to use one of them to take over the top. In fact, let me just choose a slightly rough one. I think that was a fairly rough one. We're going to go over the top just to remove that colouring. In fact, it's not really coming off as fast as what I want, so let's get the old steel wool back on the job. It's better. Get the bad boy on the job. Once you've gone over with a wire wool, you can get your polishing papers to go over the front, just to bring a bit of polish back if you wanted to, but still keeping the liver of sulfur in the etched areas like that. And you can go on then with the polishing papers just to bring a shine back to the whole piece if you wanted to, or keep it with that sort of shiny matte surface like that. So these polishing papers really do work a treat, especially when you've got them upon a flat surface like this. You can really sort of get a really good polish upon the surface of the silver without you really polishing away the etched areas where the liver of sulfur is. The liver of sulfur will stay in the recessed areas because the polishing papers will not reach it. So there we go. I'm just going to draw a small little hole on here now, put a nice little bit of silk ribbon through it, and that's going to be a lovely little bookmark when I'm reading my books late at night. I'm Andrew Berry for AtTheBench. Thank you for watching. If you want to pop across on the web whilst you're watching these films on YouTube to AtTheBench.com, have a look on there. We've got over 400 more films online, with 3 going live every single week. There are free view films that you can watch, or you can pay quite a low monthly membership, or why not join for a year, and you have access to the complete site and the complete 400 plus films. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.